What's up, YouTube? It is your girl Latrina, and I am back again today with another tarot spread read. And starting in our first row, we do get the World card. Something has come full circle in this particular read here, and it may be regarding a thief. And something that they had to let go of with this Four of Pentacles coming out in the reverse, which usually in the upright, it means holding on to something. So by it being reversed, they had to let go of something. The world has come upon this thief. And it's caused some sort of desperation, because we do get the Desperate card also that comes out with this first row. In this first row, we get Desperate, and it says a used key is always bright. Something that this world has brought upon this thief has caused them to have to go into prayer. It forced them into prayer. Whatever this world ending situation was with regarding this thief, the world has come upon this situation. They had to accept something, or they had to actually, because if this card in the reverse is meaning let go, no holding on in the upright, and let go, they had to let go of this, maybe this desperation, and whatever they tried to take, they had to let go of it, because the world has come upon this situation. Even regarding a marriage, the world has come upon this situation. Something had to be let go of. And, it had to be something of monetary value that this world came upon. This world came full circle upon this thief. Came full circle upon this marriage even. And it's forced them into prayer and even desperation. It's caused them to be desperate. They are now desperate. Something that this world has come upon, and it may even be regarding the World Wide Web that's caused them to be, maybe they were taking something online and they had to let it go. Digital, maybe it was digital money, but it's even forced them into prayer, into the prayer position. And then next we have the Foundations and Achievements card coming out in the second row, along with the Eight of Wands in the reverse. So that tells me that something did take a different direction, a course of direction, when it comes to someone's foundations and achievements. And that usually represents the Four of Wands in the traditional tarot, which does kind of speak of a home and a family situation, almost even a marriage. And then, we did get the Marriage card in that first row. So with someone's foundations and achievements, something took a different direction. They were not able to make a journey. This Journey card came out in the reverse. And then we get the Queen of Pentacles coming out. And then we get the ass sticker. It says, what greater crime than the loss of time? So somebody may have lost a lot of time, put in a lot of time regarding something with this foundation and achievements. And it, probably even a marriage. that, was put, a lot of time was put into it. And it was a loss of time, actually. They didn't, that time cannot be brought back. Someone's trying to prevent something from coming to an end as well in that second row, because we get the death card in the reverse, which, whatever course of action, direction that this movement or this motion took, or this energy, in this whole spread, is taking a different course of direction. The direction has changed upon this Queen of Pentacles coming out in this second row. And then also in our third row, we get the victory and success card in the reverse. So that does not speak of a victory. That speaks of a defeat. And then we get the coffin card out also in that third row, which, is pretty much the death card in the traditional tarot. That coffin represents that, this world, whatever came to an end, whatever came full circle on this thief that he had to let go of, it's forced, it's got him even desperate, in a desperation mode, whatever course of direction that was changed regarding someone's foundation, and regarding, maybe them trying to take a journey, not able to take a journey. Because, we get the moon card coming out. Is that the moon? Yes, the moon. In the third row as well, which, speaks of those secrets. Someone's keeping secrets that, and we get this Four of Cups again. Wait, no, that's the Four of Pentacles. But we do get the Four of Cups coming out, which they had to accept something that they opened the door and entered by themselves. That's what they had to accept. They had to accept that the world has come upon this situation also. Something's come full circle. And all they can do is hope. It's left them with just desperation and hope. And even loss. Two losses here. One of them is the coffin, which does speak of an ending, someone's life ending even. And then this defeat card right with this coffin. So maybe someone's ending and their defeat was a coffin, This is what the world brought upon them. This is the direction that this thing changed into. It changed into a coffin, and it changed into a defeat regarding these secrets, and something that was accepted. Something that, did get accepted. And it's even dealing with a lot of conflict, and someone's root chakra also being in the reverse, or this base chakra, which does speak of your foundation, maybe their very life force is in the reverse, which does confirm these first three rows, It does, something regarding a community that has come full circle, that has changed the course of direction on this community, and this secrets, that did come out right here with this moon. And then we get the sun also in this fourth row coming out in the reverse. So that's pretty much darkness, of, this conflict has brought someone into this whole community into darkness. Whatever conflict that they were participating in with this community, and this even Five of Wands bringing in the attorney, and someone is not an angel, and they just, full of darkness. Someone's full of darkness, because we get the sun in the reverse and the reverse angel card. So that's like a devil, a demon, or a devil. If you get a reversed angel, that speaks to someone's not innocent either, And then we get this sadness card that comes out in the reverse. It came out, someone not happy about, this foundation being in conflict with this community, and it's affected the very foundation of this community. This conflict that came upon this community, and it's caused some kind of sadness, regarding someone's foundation. And then that's confirmed twice, because we got the foundation and achievement card also in the second row. So that's two confirmations of somebody's foundation being being brought full circle upon their foundation, regarding something that they took and that they actually did not want. They had to let go. They didn't want to, but they had to. And it's even left them desperate at this time. It's left this community desperate. And it's even left this Queen of Pentacles desperate, because of the course of direction that this took. And it may have something to do with, this happening during the day, maybe today, because it says night, and then the opposite of night is day. So maybe the journey that they took during the daytime, with these courts, because we do get court cards also out here, judicial cards, meaning that this was took into this courthouse. We got attorneys involved, regarding something that was took with this, something that was stolen from this thief. This thief has to let this go because something took a different course of action. And even this Queen of Pentacles, and she may be coming out as the thief, because she's literally only one. She's a member of this community. I know that, because there's only two individuals that really come out on deck, and that's this thief and this Queen of Pentacles. They show up in the spread. They're the only real two figures that I see. The rest of the cards are just, descriptions and things like that. I don't see any real other people in here. So there's been a coffin that's came onto this situation, a real true ending. There was no victory or success regarding these secrets and regarding something that was accepted by this community. And then in our last row, we do get the Triumph card coming out, as well as the sudden wealth. Triumph and sudden wealth for this Queen of Cups. This is our third person that came up into the spread today. This is the third character, and she is the Queen of Cups in the upright. And she may need to be brought up to a defibrillator, brought back to life, because the wolf changes his hair, but not his skin. So this Queen of Cups is coming out as a wolf. And, sheep's clothing is the best kind of way to put it. And she's even coming out as jealous, because we get the jealousy card right in the same row with her, coming out right on, right out in the same row. She's going to have to be brought back to life. She had to walk away from something, because we get that Eight of Cups, which does speak of walking away from an emotional situation. Very emotional. But, we get the triumph and the sudden wealth also with that row. So maybe someone's going to be jealous about a triumph. And maybe it's this Queen of Cups who's going to be needing a defibrillator after she gets information about this victory and this sudden wealth. That maybe she had to walk away from it. And she's jealous about that, that it doesn't belong to her, that she's a thief. She's coming out as a thief. And she's coming out with this community also. So these two queens that show up here on deck, we got the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles. Something has come full circle on these two queens. And these secrets. And, them being wolves. Especially when you take something that doesn't belong to you and you're forced to let it go. That's a wolf in sheep's clothing, and it's caused them to be desperate and pray and into prayer. It's throw them into prayer. And no foundation. Their foundation has been brought down. Somebody's foundation, these three individuals that are members of this community their foundation has been brought down, and their achievements, what they thought was achievement, something has taken a different course of direction. With that Eight of Wands being in the reverse, the direction has changed upon this community and these secrets and the acceptance. They had to accept that, and just hope. They were hoping for a victory, but they didn't get a victory. They got defeat. When it comes out in the reverse, that speaks of a defeat. Something that they had to accept, because that Four of Cups speaks of rejection, but in the reverse, it speaks of accepting. They had to accept something, taking a change of direction, and that the world has come upon their situation that they were trying to take, and they've been forced to let something go. And it's probably regarding this sudden wealth is what they were forced to let go. Forced to let go of that sudden wealth, and even forced to let go of the life that they once knew, being wolves. They had to walk away from being a wolf, from being a dog, from being a thief, and the greedy and emotional manipulation, and all of these things that this community was participating in.